How should one maintain a relationship with the Guru and make him happy? How can I maintain a relationship with the Supreme?
Why do you want to make the Guru happy? Guru is finding his or her happiness by himself. That's not your responsibility. You go to the Guru to find your happiness in your heart. First point. Second point, if at all you want to make the Guru happy, the Gita says, Tad Viddhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya. 3 points. Tad Viddhi Pranipatena. You surrender. Surrender does not mean whatever the Guru says you accept. Surrender means my insistence I learn to drop and I learn to accept the higher way of living. My resistance, false notions, what the Guru says, you are not the body, then I resist you. How can I not be the body? That resistance I have to drop. Pranipatena. Pariprashnena. To drop that resistance, I must have clarity. So I can ask questions. Questioning and surrender are not opposed to each other. Just because I question doesn't mean there is no surrender. I can ask questions, do satsang, understand, get the clarity. Third, sevaya. Serve the teacher. Not because teacher wants, but serve the teacher to tune up with the teacher. Because the knowledge will transfer only from the heart to the heart. It is not from the lip of the student, of the Guru to the ear of the student. It is from the heart of the teacher to the heart of the student. For that, tuning with the teacher is important. And tuning happens when I stay, I serve, I understand how this person operates in every aspect of life, and how is the person living this knowledge. Then the tuning happens. So these are 3 methods: by surrender, by service, and by satsang. One tries to live a higher way of life. That is what will make that person, the Guru, his or her presence worthwhile. Some more fundamental aspects to understand is, why do we go to a Guru? Do we go to a Guru because I am deprived of love and I want love from the Guru? Do we go because somebody is not praising me, the world has rejected me and I want the Guru to praise me? Then I am going for a wrong purpose. The Guru's job is the most difficult job to do. It is to burst the ego. It is not to boost the ego. Kabir Das ji said very nicely, Satguru mera surma kare shabd ki chot, mare gola prem ka hare bharam ki khot. With the words the Sadguru may even hit the ego. Sometimes it may be even admonishing. Sometimes it may be even appear to be rude. But it is not anything personal. It is that the ego has to be cut. Because the mind is same, no, it wants self-importance. What it was craving in the world, it will crave even in the ashram, even in a guru's place. So if 4 people are there, this person will say, I only have to serve the Guru. Why did you do this? This is my job. I will only do this. You should not do this. My ego will come up. And when I do it, then the Guru will praise me, then I feel very good. And if I do everything and Guru doesn't praise, I feel, Kaisa Guru hai? I did so much and he didn't praise. So then my whole purpose of going there is gone. The purpose is to drop the ego. The only place where I can go to drop the ego is in satsang. And if there only I become egoistic, that's the way ego sustains. So the Guru-Shishya relationship is actually to be maintained from the Shishya standpoint, that I am a student and I am here to learn. And I am here to be humble. And I am here to drop my ego. That fundamental clarity must be there. I am not here to help the Guru. Guru's life will go on in spite of me. It was going on, it will go on. It is not that if I go there and I start doing, even if the Guru entrusts me with a lot of responsibilities, there is no dependency. Many times people think like that. They come into an organization and then they think that the organization depends on them, and without them organization cannot run. The organization is there before us and it will sustain even after us. We have to be grateful that we got a chance to be there. So with that humility I relate there, with the attitude that I am a student all the time. How will this focus remain? Most important is focus on the teaching, not the teacher. Teaching is most important. Many places what happens is we focus on the teaching We focus on the teacher and forget the teaching. Our Gurudev himself used to say always, again and again he said, I am the pointer, I am not the pointed. And he will say that in a way in which you and I will remember. So he will always say, I am the pointer. So it will go into our head because that sound is like that. So I am the pointer, meaning if you look in the direction of the pointer, what is the pointed you will see. So the Guru is a pointer. Where the Guru is showing, that one has to see. If I get stuck with the pointer, I won't see the pointed. A teacher who is detached will always do that. Who will always make you see the pointed and not focus attention on himself or herself as the pointer. If a teacher is there who is making himself or herself more important than the pointed, run away from that teacher. Because both will follow. Teacher also will fall, student also will fall. So the attitude which a student has is, I am here to learn, to know the truth. For that I am here to serve, I am here to surrender, I am here to do satsang and gain knowledge. So the conversation also must be focused on those aspects. You know, Gurudev used to joke sometimes that if you go to a lawyer, will you tell the lawyer that, I had whole night loose motions last night, can you please give me some medicine? What the lawyer will say, write a petition, I will submit it. You don't ask a lawyer about medicine. You don't ask an engineer about some lawsuit. Then when you come to a spiritual teacher, why do you ask all kinds of questions? You ask about spirituality, not about how to control husband and how to find a good wife and what is the essence of marriage. You ask spiritual questions to the teacher. Because that is his specialized knowledge. He only can give about Brahma Vidya, Atma Gyan and all that. But people go to gurus for everything. My son is not listening to me. Arey, what can I do? You produce the son. You tune up with him. But sometimes people ask, guide from the scriptures, we guide. But otherwise, what is the purpose? Just imagine people like Tapovan Maharaj, people like Gurudev, Vivekanand Ji, how much effort it is for them to realize the truth. And what they have experienced, people don't even know. So if we go to them, what should we ask? We should ask about that, no? Whether is going to a king and asking that king, 1 rupya de do. You should ask that. So the student's conversation must be like that. So in the scriptures, those are type of questions which are given. What question should a student ask? Ko nama bandha katham esha agata, katham pratishtha se katham vimoksha. What is bondage? What is liberation? From where this bondage has come? How is this bondage sustained? Ko savanatma paramakka atma. What is atma? What is anatma? Tayor viveka, please tell me the difference and I want to know who am I. Those are the things one has to ask. So a student must ask those things which the teacher can give. Then the relationship will also remain focused. Then the teaching is more important, not the individual student or individual teacher. So the student must maintain that attitude, then everything is clear. So this is about the Guru. Most important thing that will make a Guru happy is you live the teaching. No, that's all. Nothing else will make the Guru more happy. Whatever knowledge is there in the scriptures, if somebody is living and their life is transforming, the Guru feels joy looking at the transformation. Nothing else the Guru needs. The greatest Guru Dakshina to give to a Guru is your own ego. That's all. Once I give that ego I surrender to a higher purpose, to the Lord, then that's all. The whole transformation because you just imagine anybody in this world will make me from a finite to a better finite. If I am a poor finite person, I will become a rich finite person. Right? If I am a less talented finite individual, I will become more talented finite individual. If I have less glory, I will become more glorious. So finite becomes a better finite in the world. But when you go to a Sadguru, the finiteness dissolves, the infinite manifests. That only the Sadguru can do. So I must be able to invoke that in the Sadguru. And for that I must uncompromisingly live the teachings of the scriptures, and I change, then everything happens. So this is about the Guru. Self-respect can never be hurt. Ego will always be hurt. Self-respect is a healthy self-esteem I have about myself. It doesn't depend on anybody else, because that's why it is called self-respect. I respect myself for who I am and the way I am. It doesn't depend on anybody outside. Ego always depends on outside. Recognition from people, they must consider me well, they must praise me, and that ego only gets hurt. No, but what if people hurt my self-respect? They cannot hurt my self-respect, they can only hurt my ego. If they talk in the most demeaning way to me also, if I am a person who respects myself, I will never feel hurt. But if I am a person who is not having healthy self-esteem and self-respect, then I automatically feel hurt. If any passerby says you are a donkey, it doesn't hurt me. Because I have my self-respect. I am not a donkey. I am very clear. I am a human being. But if my husband says you are a donkey, gone. Why? Because now it is not self-respect which is hurt. What is hurt? Ego is hurt. Because I expect that person not to say like this. Why did this person say like this? Where did self-respect come into play? Self-respect is, I know I am a human being. I am worthy of love. Why will that get affected? That will not get affected. So my attachment makes me hurt. No, not that comment. My attachment that this person should not speak like this and that person should have an image like this about myself, now that image has got shattered. And sometimes there is also a fact that person feels, how did he know? So I feel threatened. If it is purely out of irritation that person has said, or purely out of hurt that person has said something, I should be able to let go of it. But I make an ego issue of it, then I feel very hurt. So really speaking, what hurts is the ego. It's not the self-respect. Last part of this question is how to maintain relationship with the Supreme. First and foremost, choose one form of the Supreme. Because to relate, I need one symbol. If I say infinity is very abstract, I need one concrete symbol. Whatever the form is, sound is, anything, whichever you want to, direction, whatever, that's your conceptualization of that infinite. Mind needs to focus. If it is a form, then cultivate a relationship. Ramakrishna had a relationship of mother and a son. So he is a son, she is the mother. Mirabai had a relationship of lover and beloved. Sudama had a relationship of friend. Hanumanji had a relationship of a servant. So one form, one relationship. And all emotions channelized through that. Third, in composition of Shankaracharya ji, he says, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. 3 times he says Bhaja, Bhaja, Bhaja. Bhaja means to know about the Lord. Who is this Lord? What are his qualities? What are his leelas? What are his attributes? What is his form? What are his names? So Nama, Rupa, Guna, Kriya, Sambandha, Dham, Leela and Swarup. 8 things I must know. Then there is devotion that will come in the heart. When knowledge is there, then second meaning of Bhaj is love. Devotion. Devotion also will arise. And I must be able to connect every day to that Lord in that devotion. So puja, japa, bhajan, kirtan, any such sadhana. Along with study, I must do these types of sadhanas to tune up to that Lord. And to experience the joy of quietude of the mind, thinking of Bhagavan. There's so much of joy in just the name of the Lord. And the third one is that same Lord who is in the form I see is pervading everywhere. So I serve the people around. That is the third meaning of bhaja. Not serving people, serving people as appearances of the Lord only. With that bhav I serve. I may do my duty towards my child, my husband with that attitude and appropriately what I have to do. But inside, I am serving Bhagwan through my child. I am serving Bhagwan through my spouse. That is the bhav. Then my relationship with the Supreme is maintained 24 hours. So it's not just now and then when I do puja. It is at 24 hours.